Good evening.
Hiya.
Hello.
You're right.
Yeah, I'm all right.
Good.
Yeah, good. We are quilting on the go.
We are. So we have a fantastic one-day special. This is from Groves. Now, Groves are one of the biggest names in kind of sewing and quilting accessories. They're a huge company, huge wholesaler, and they've got lots of fantastic brands under their kind of umbrella. And one of the brands is So Easy. And So Easy is where we've got this collection from. So the iron itself is a dry iron. So a dry iron means there's no steam involved. So this means that's why there's no holes on the plate there, because there's no need for them. There's no steam to come through. And a dry iron is what you would use when you're using your adhesives. So things like your fusible webbing, things like if you've got the heat set pens, that makes a lot of sense. The Deborah ones, we've got those on. So we can have a look at those later.
For instance, if you have got like the pink ink, the previous show that they stamp and colour on
anything
fabric.
that you heat set.
Yes.
You want to do that with a dry iron rather than a steam iron.
Okay.
So we've got the dry iron. We've also got these fantastic ironing mats. So on one side, let me turn this over first. So on this side, you've got two sides, both padded. Yep. Ready for you to use as a mini ironing board. And then on the inside you have your cutting mat. Now this one is it's about 11 inches by 8 inches, so in centimetres that's roughly, I would say it's almost an A4, just slightly under an A4 there. And you've also got this side here. So this side's almost got a sandpaper texture to it, and that's to allow to grip things. So if you've got bits of applique that you've cut out that you're not quite ready to use yet, you pop them in there, pop that over the top, and this side's got a lovely suede finish, so you can do laying out and lining things up on this side.
So, that's super useful. No, I think it works out around because it's up to
it's going 25, but then you've still got about a good half an inch on either side. So I think it's going to be just under
and because an A4. 8 1/4, an A4 is 8 1/4 by 11 inches, so something like that. So it's
roughly an A4.
12 inches actually. So it's small. And then you fold it in, and then of course you can have it, and you can use it as an ironing board.
You can use it as an ironing board, absolutely. So you've got all your functionality for when you're going to classes and those smaller projects where you're not wanting to get the whole ironing board out, or you're not wanting to get the whole big cutting mat out because you're just doing small pieces. So things like your jelly rolls, where you're just cutting short bits off, this is perfect for that.
And of course also if you are learning quilting or something like that, you don't want to invest in a completely, and this, look at that. I mean, it is an amazing saving. £24.98 is 8 pence. That's for both
of those. Now, if you have a look on the web and price each of them individually, your mat is £24.99 and your iron is £19.99.
So basically, for 1 penny less than the price of the board, you are
getting the
iron included. Also, I love this iron.
Oh, it folds flat as well. Forgot about that.
Now, this is very important because, storage.
Yes,
storage
maybe you don't have all the space in the world, and it is always good to have a dedicated iron, especially for using with things like your adhesives and that kind of thing. Because if it gets on the bottom, and then you go ahead and use it on, a white shirt or something like that, you can be kicking yourself. But this is a great way to have it, so you've got an individual iron.
Now, of course, it is quilting on the go, which means that that's the portability is a key aspect in here. I think also, I do have a massive studio, as I call it, a craft room, but it is full.
They're always full.
And of course, this, I love it because it will fit really easily.
All you're really looking for space-wise is about A3. Yeah, that's all you're really looking for. And then you can do everything in that space. You can cut in that space, you can iron in that space, and you can also kind of keep track of the bits that you're not quite ready to use yet.
Now, of course, we have got options. So we have got the owl in there. So that is the fabric. So the options basically are the fabric print that they are on the ironing mat.
Yes, the iron is the same regardless. So you've got the owls.
Yep.
And then we have got the houses.
That appears to be the floral. Then we have got the grey spot.
Thank you.
And then we have got the blue spot.
The blue spot.
Which one is your favorite?
The blue spot is on a slightly heavier weight canvas, that one.
Yeah.
So just bear that in mind. If you're working with things where it may transfer the texture of the fabric through,
that's a very good point.
Worth thinking about, because this one is a heavier weight one. Yeah. So it's great for when you're working on, you know, much more dense projects, but it is, as I said, it's got a little bit of a texture to it. So if it's really lightweight fabrics you're going to be working with, I'd probably say one of the ones with the tighter weaves would be better.
Maybe the grey spots, the floral, or the owl, which is, and in the lead is, the owl is in the lead. Of course, that owl is so popular, isn't it? Which one is your favourite?
I quite like just the plain grey spotty one.
Me too. Me too.
I think it's understated.
Well, and also grey, I think, blends in perfectly with any decoration. And also, what I love about it is that most of the patterns will show really well.
Yes.
So rather than maybe if you have got, but I have to say the floral.
That one's my second favourite.
We are on the same page. So whichever one you go, remember you have got.
Actually, I think the owls is my last. I think I would have this one.
Me too. Yeah.
Then this one. Then the chunky, the heavier weight one, and then the owls last.
That is fabulous. Remember, you have got a £20 saving there. So if you want the one-day special, 829-656 is your item number, £24.98 plus P&P. If you are not a Freedom member, if you're a Freedom member, of course, you save P&P. Now, of course, there is more items on the show. Let's have a look on the website. You have got, for instance, the vice tape maker, and then you have got a So Easy basting glue. Basting glue, yeah. Not basting. Yeah, that's what I was doubting, if it was basting or basting. Then you have got, of course, the templates in there as well, acrylic templates and rotary cutter. But one of my favorite items in this hour is that pressing board. It's so easy. It's mini one. It's actually
it's the cutest one in the world, isn't it?
I mean, I don't know if it's you know, kind of those things that land on the sea, or it's
like a hovercraft.
Hovercraft, yeah, that's it. Or the other thing is snowmobile.
Oh, I know what you mean, like a skidoo kind of thing, where it has the little, or a jet ski kind of thing, where it lifts up and hydroplanes.
It folds, it flattens, so you can have it, and then you can have.
Just take this piece.
I just love it. Love it. Love it. Love it.
It's really, really quick. Well, it's really, really cute because it's quite little. But if you're only wanting to do small projects, or especially if you're dressmaking, now it looks really tiny, and you might initially think, well, that's absolutely ridiculous. It's so tiny. But if you're doing dressmaking, something this size is really, really handy, especially when you've got little pieces like collars, cuffs, you've got sleeves to do. Really, really handy.
That's a very, very good. Now, funnily, as soon as you mentioned the sleeves, I was trying to think where I had seen something very similar.
Can I please borrow some of the lovely fabrics as well?
Because my aunt used to be a professional seamstress, and she had one of them, and she used them all the time. Now I remember, I kind of thought,
it looks really, really tiny. You think, well, that's ridiculous, I'm never going to use it. But you'll find it's so handy for little, smaller projects. Now, before I smash into these and destroy them, I just want to show you them while they're in their lovely, lovely beautifulness. So these are the Tilda fabrics, and this is the Apple Butter collection, and you've got a pattern and a plain in there, and that lovely spotty, stripy design, which is kind of so pretty and so universal.
They're so cute.
And you've got beautiful, beautiful colours in here.
I agree. Now, are they fat quarters?
Yes, they are fat quarters. Yeah. I'm just checking exact size. 22 by 21 inches. So yes, fat quarters.
And then, of course, you're getting in the 10 on total. Yeah, you do. And I love that they have got like sort of rainbow effects as well. Now, 365 047 £32.99 and that is the Apple Butter. And then
this one is Lazy Days.
Lazy
and
Days.
Again, they've got that same kind of thing going on. But what they've done that's quite unusual, if you have a look at those, all the other ones, kind of go in pairs. But then they've thrown these two in, but they actually work.
They do
really, really well. Because there are two Lazy Days collections. You've got that one there, which has got the trickle print and the solid on. And then there is a smaller bundle which are patterned ones. Now,
I wonder if you go for both of them, you have got some options as well.
Well, these ones are from the same collection. This pack of 5 is all the patterns from the same collection. So if I take this one to pieces, not ruin the big ones.
I'm going to tell you the details for this. 1, 3, 8, 6, 5, 4, 3. Of course, this one is the Lazy Days, £32.99 for 10 fat quarters.
Can I keep it for a second and just put some of these next to it, because you can see now where all of those colours are coming in. And there are 5 patterns.
In this one, you're getting the 5 pieces. And of course, as Hayley's explaining, the more featured designs, the ones that they have got more designs in it, now that features onto the 5-piece fat quarter bundle. So that's the teal sort of colour through.
So you can see all of those, especially this one as I'm pulling it up, you can kind of see it's got that nice kind of turquoisey colour in, it's got those greens in, it's got those coral colours in, it's got everything pulling that through. And I thought if I was going to destroy one, let's destroy the smallest one, and then I'm going to get less.
And they are more the feature fabrics as well, so they are the ones with more patterns.
That's all what we're after, is less told off. It's the best we can expect, isn't it?
Of course, 208669 is your item number for the Tilda Lazy Days 100% cotton 5-piece fat quarter bundle with the teal undertones. £18.99 is your price.
So we are going to use some of those fantastic ones. We've got. I'll use the one that I've opened so you can have a little look. So I'm going to flip it over. I've got some fusible webbing here because that's what we've been talking about as one of the uses for the dry iron, the one that doesn't have steam.
I mean, this is what I did. Like I used to have a designated mini iron just for the adhesive
absolutely.
fabric,
It's definitely well worth doing because there's nothing worse than getting your iron all gunked up and then having to kind of...
I mean, I don't have a proper iron anymore. I just have the one for...
No, I do the same. I have one for sewing and then that's all the iron I need.
Exactly.
You just buy things that go in the tumble dryer.
Absolutely. That's my problem, you know.
There's not enough time for ironing. It leaves less time for crafting.
So of course, it is, and it is quite strong.
It's quite powerful for the size of it. And again, without having that steam, it means it's great for lots of the projects that are going to need either adhesive or heat fixing. It's absolutely perfect for that. And it's great to have a designated iron for that project. So what I have here is I have a number of some little templates. We'll come to these a bit more later in the show. But there are 4 stars. Oh, I've lost a star. I'll find it later. Don't panic.
You lost a star.
Yeah, I've got all the hearts though, so we're fine.
All the hearts.
Well, they actually come on these rings, which you can actually screw apart.
Oh,
so you can get them kind of to them all individually, and you're getting 4 different sizes within there. You can't really see because they're clear. If I put them against there, you might see them a little bit better. There you go. You can have that one.
No, I think
it's worse, isn't it? Okay. Oh! I got some pink.
Oh yeah, definitely. That will show.
Pink.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
So you are getting a whole set of these, and what you can do, can have the little one, I think. Yeah. Now what you've got is you've got an inch there to there. If I just put it, I'm trying to put it against the background so you can see. Can I just blow that pink back? There we go. So you've got an inch there to there. Now, if you were going to do kind of true applique, where you cut the shape out, fold it under, and stitch it on, then that's giving you your seam allowance as well. If you're just wanting to use them as templates in their own right, then that will give you a 1.5 inch width, because obviously you're adding a 1/4 inch on this side and you're adding another 1/4 inch on that side, so it'll give you 1.5 inches. So that one, hopefully, I was a bit stingy there, but we're just. So if I wanted to use the smaller star, I could use those points in the middle and then join them up to create that smaller 1 inch star. For ease, we are going to go around the larger one. And this is a heat erasable marker.
Okay.
So
do we have those ones on the show?
I don't think I've got these ones on the show this time. Oh, I did do that corner very well. I'm going to redo that corner. Bear with. There you go. Let's just put that corner back in. That's better. So that's already stuck on there. I can now cut that out. Now, I would always advise with the heat kind of fusible webbing that you stick it on, let it cool down before you try and peel it off, because if you try and peel it off while it's still warm, you're just going to end up with a sticky, gluey mess, and half of it will still be on the paper.
Can you use, I suppose, no, I kind of answered my own question in my head.
Okay.
I was just going to say if you could use the rotary cutter with this template.
Right, I would say no, because what you're going to have is you're going to have problems getting it right into the corner, because obviously a rotary cutter blade, I did have one over here, is round, and
it doesn't
you
get
need
to the...
Yes, if that had little slots in there and there, then yeah, absolutely you could.
So it is for the scissor.
For scissors, for scissors only, this one. But these are great for applique. They are great to kind of add to any project. And there's 3 or 4 different shapes and sizes of these. You've got hearts, you've got stars, and I think you've got circles in the sets of 4. But there are also some sets of 8 as well.
So for the square one, you could use the rotary cutter?
Yes. Yes. For the square one, absolutely. It's just the ones where you've got things like the internal corners. So things like the hearts and the stars, you're going to have trouble getting into this piece here with the rotary cutter. So I've got these, and I've cut a couple more out earlier on, and I hid them in
this
sneaky bit. So this is where you
see.
can store all of your bits that you're not quite ready to use yet, and you can either leave the paper on or you can take the paper off, because this will grip them. So you can keep all of your bits there, and then when you're ready to maybe put it together, let me just, because I don't want to put that on there, let me just get a bit of this plain calico, I think. Oh, should we have another tilde colour?
Oh, yes.
So everything matches.
Shall we go for...
Okay, well, let's pick... Oh, can I have the corally one?
Yes.
Because that works
that
really...
Oh,
yes, let's have that one. There we go. So if I was then going to put that on to applique it on, first of all, I need to get a few of the creases out of this. Now, obviously, with fabrics, if you're just wanting to remove creases, then yes, steam does help. And if you're just going to use this iron alone, and obviously it has no steam, so what you can do is just spritz a little bit of water on there, and that will help it. All that water does is it gets into the fibres and just helps to relax them. But this is with no steam at all.
Look how strong it is.
It's really nice, strong iron, this one, and you can just see that tiny bit of colour change that's happening there. That's just purely heat. As soon as it cools down again, it's back to its normal colour.
And also the other thing I like about the smaller irons like this one is that it's just easy to hold. It's
there's no weight in it.
It's not heavy. It's just, you know.
But because there's no weight in it, if you have got really, really stubborn creases, you may have to, you know, put a little pressure on to do it. It's not the same as the Aliso one where it pops up. That iron is built to be heavier, so you don't need to do that. But this one, you also need to watch you don't leave it down because this one, once it's on, it's on.
For the price, £24.98.
It's amazing.
You're
for
getting
the price.
the mini iron as well. I mean, it works out that basically you're not paying for the one day special. What you're paying is the regular price. Well, actually, 1 penny off the regular price of the portable mini ironing board. It's a multi-mat. It's a 4-in-1 because it grips the paper. You have got a cut inside. You have got a holding this side. You have got
let's call it a storage side.
A storage side. And also, I love the fact that you can use it. Open the ironing side, or you can have it folded.
Yeah,
and
I could use it half.
Super mini.
I absolutely, if I wanted to, I could use it as half. Oh, I've slid that one out.
Because then like I'm thinking, sewing machine here, you have that on the side.
Yeah, you can just have it on the side. It's not taking up a huge amount of space.
So you can just go in and iron, which to me makes all the sense. And the fact that it has got the cutting mat, I just open it up, we'll be able to cut it. It just makes it so much sense. Yeah,
it makes it much, much easier. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to look for maybe 3 or 4, we'll do some more of these little shapes, and we'll just use some of the tilde fabrics. I'm not going to take them all to bits because I think we only have one set and they're going to tell me off. So
well, we can fold them. Like, nobody would know that you have... Where is the other side? I'll fold it nicely and we can pretend that we haven't used them.
Should we just pretend?
Well, not pretend, but it's just kind of, well, it's not pretend. I mean, we are going to say we have used them, but still you can see how yours will arrive completely, not like
without,
this.
not with lumps
you won't
missing.
get that. This is just so we can still display it. And look, if we display like this, let's see how I can, I mean, I'm the worst at folding.
This is pretty close. That's close enough.
Close enough.
That's close enough. So I've got my piece that I'm going to work on there. I've got the mat folded in half, so I'm just using that little side of it.
And the fact that also the iron folds the handle.
Yeah,
I know
the iron does fold. I'll do it quickly, but obviously it's on, so I wouldn't recommend doing it while it's on, but you can just press the little button at the back there and the handle will fold down. There's a little gap which accommodates the cord.
So that means if
and you can hear when it's locked, that's when it's ready to use.
So this is very good for storing, to put it into your traveling kind of kit, sewing kit.
Oh, another one the same size. Oh, would you like a heart?
Let's do a heart.
Let's do a heart.
Valentine's is next week anyway.
I must have that tiny star somewhere.
You will find it.
I've already
when you
used
start
it.
looking for it.
I know. Okay. Well, I'll tell you what. Could you possibly put those back on the thing?
Of course I can.
There's the thing.
Yep. Okay.
Because the way that these come to you is that they will come to you all linked together. So if I wanted the smallest heart off there, this just screws.
Yep.
And then opens up. And then you can slide them on and off. Let's go for the littlest one.
Okay.
There we go. And again, it's got those little dots in there, so you can either make it to the smaller size or you can make it to the larger size by drawing around the outside. Now, you could do this on the cutting mat side because this is a little bit squidgy on the, I'm on the ironing side here. Actually, I can probably get 2 on there. I can probably get more. Oh, I reckon I can get 3 on here. I'm going for
3
it.
hearts better than 1.
I'm going for it. I'm going for it.
Definitely.
There you go. Can I get another one on? Oh, yes, I can.
Okay.
Yes, I can.
And of course, you're using the Tilda fabric, and that's the Lazy Days
This
collection.
is the Lazy Days, the set of 5 that this one's from.
Of 10.
And that was the plain coral colours from the set of 10. So I'm going to need a minute or so to cut these out. Because that's not very exciting. But then we can start to get them all ironed onto the fabric.
Okay, well, you're cutting dies. Is it okay if I go,
that's
show everything that we have got on the show? Of course, including that mini cutting board, ironing board. I absolutely love it. Approximately 20% of the stock has already gone. Of course, if you are getting $9.99 is the price. It's this tiny, but it's so useful. If you are ironing if you're a dressmaker, this is an essential bit of kit because it helps you to iron and press those cuffs, just the sleeves as well. Maybe all those smaller details. As I mentioned, when I saw it, I thought I have seen this before. Of course, my auntie, who was a professional seamstress, used to have one because she needed to press with precision every single thing that she did, especially all those little. For her, it was really useful when she was doing wedding dresses as well as First Holy Communion. And when she did mine, she kind of used it for my little sleeves and everything. She was pressing them perfectly every stage. Now, of course, it is from so easy as is the one-day special. If you have got there the details, 656-128-999 is your item number. Now, of course, the one-day special. Come on in, Hayley. Come on in, Hayley. Come on in. Fine. She's ready. She's ready. She's.
Hi.
Hello. Hello.
Yeah. Fine, thanks.
Yeah. Anyway, one day special.
Just for a change.
Yeah, you finish quickly. You are so fast with the scissors. Can you tell us a little bit more about the one day special?
So you've got the iron as part of your one day special. So the iron, it has all of the usual settings. So you've got low settings for things like synthetics, polyesters, silk. You've got wool, and then right up to linen and cotton settings. Let me just, I'll tell you what, I'll put the handle out of the way, and then you can see.
Yeah.
So you've got all of those settings there, so you can use it with a number of different fabrics. It's got no holes on the base because obviously this is a dry iron. It's designed specifically for things like your applique and working with your adhesives and your heat fix projects.
So for instance, if you are somebody like a pink ink design, you know, fanatic, that you want to set your fabric, the colors, this will be perfect
for that. And then what you're getting as well is you are getting a choice of one of the multi-mats. So I'm going to go for the grey one again.
So that's the grey spots, you have got the blue spots option, you have got the owl option as well as the floral.
So you are getting a cutting mat in there. You are getting your kind of storage side in there, and that's got a really grippy side to it because it's almost like a sandpaper, like a wet and dry paper. That's what I mean, like an emery board. It's almost that. So it kind of grips your fabrics when you put them on there. And then that's just to cover it over. So you can still work on the top of there, and you can still place things or plan things out on there because that's a suede feel. And that again will kind of grip your projects as you're trying to work them. And then on the other side, it is padded, and that's perfect for you to iron on as well. So you can use it as an ironing board with its full size there, which is about A3 size. Roughly.
Everybody's okay, I think.
So you've got
I think it's, I mean, a plastic box, I mean, Kathy's fine. Kathy's fine.
Yeah, she's fine. So you can use it as this kind of opened out A3 size if you wish, or if you want even less space, then you can just use it that way, which is just slightly bigger than slightly wider than an A4 size.
And also, I'll tell you one thing. The fact that it's almost like a book. It's a book. It's a book. So
but if you're going to a class, then I mean the two of them together. I mean that's the box that the iron comes in. So the two of them together take up next to no space.
I mean, it's like nothing. Yeah. I mean,
it's even less if you take it out of the box.
And I love that. And I also love the idea that you, even if you are not a mobile crafter, like even if you're saying, you know, you have got a craft room or a quilting room, just still space is a premium.
Yes, absolutely. And the base plate on here is non-stick as well, so it will glide over your fabrics. And perfect for the use with your kind of applique, your adhesives, all of those kind of heat fix projects.
And of course, we have got options of what sort of fabric you are going to get into the mat. So multi-mat. No, I have got a blue mat in here, so that's the first option. Remember that that's the one that has got a more texture weave. So if you want to use it with finer weaves, we recommend one of the other for 3 options. So we have got then the grey spots, which is
our favorite,
which approaching 20% of the stock has already gone. Now the owl is very, very popular. His and Nelly's for with 30% of the stock already gone. Thank you, Hayley. And then of course our second favorite, both Hayley and I, we have got.
It says floral, but I think it's more like a neighbourhood kind of feel, isn't it?
Tree. 20% of the stock has already gone of this one. Remember that is your choice which pattern, but the insides, the innards, will be exactly innards. I love the innards. You know. The innards will be the same. The
that sounds quite menacing.
Oh, sorry, I didn't realize it was so menacing.
Okay.
The beautiful insides. Is that better?
Yes,
829-656 is your item number. £24.98. And remember, the price is an amazing saving of £20. Basically, you are paying 1 penny less that you should be paying for the multi-mat, and you are getting the paying extra for the.
You would think you'd pay like a penny more and get the iron, but you're paying a penny less getting the iron.
So yeah, save up 1 penny and
somebody hasn't done the maths there. But to be fair, it's after 5:30 when they all go home. So fill your boots.
Yeah, exactly. Get it in a couple, and you can multi-order if you wanted to as well.
Yeah, why not?
Right. So let's move on. We haven't seen this.
If you are going to go for the 1-day special, then this is a great option to go for because this is your 45mm rotary cutter. And it's a nice soft grip. It's got the safeties on there as well. So if you're not using it and it's in a drawer, you can lock it so nobody accidentally picks it up and hurts themselves. But that is absolutely perfect for using with the cutting mat that comes within the one day special.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love that it's ergonomic. I love that it's pink and blue.
I had another one.
And of course,
and I put it somewhere to use it,
one.
and then I've lost it, but I'll find it.
Well, there are some brilliants today.
I'll have it found by 10
851 and 351 is your item number for the rotary cutter. Of course, 11.99 pence is your price. Now, we are going to templates here.
Yes, these
what do we get?
are the ones that I was using earlier. Are these the ones of 4s? Yes, they are.
So you're getting 4 pieces and 4. So you're getting 4 different sizes. So you have got an option here. So you can go the circles, the hearts, or the stars, and you in whichever option you are going to get, you are getting 4 in each.
Yes, you're getting all 4 of the templates. So that means that you can make all of those shapes either as appliques. Now you can do that in the traditional style because they've got the seam allowances marked on there, or you can use them as this kind of size that they are. So whatever size it says in the centre, for example, this one that's this circle, it says 1 inch diameter there. Obviously, if I just compare that to the next one underneath it, without trying not to topple them all over, you can see that that should fit exactly. Oh, it's because they're attached together. But it will fit exactly in that one underneath it, because that's a 1.5 inch diameter.
That makes a lot of sense.
So then this one will fit into there, and then you're adding a 1/2 inch total, because it's 1/4 inch, and then that's your next size up, which is your 2 inch diameter.
Okay.
So you've got ones that kind of will scale up together with you.
Of course.
I've made a right mess, Paula. It's gone horribly wrong.
Well, don't worry.
Quick,
That's
do
the
some
story
numbers.
of my life.
Do some numbers quick.
Okay, so I'll do the numbers. 148,646. £14.99 is what you're paying making a saving of £3.
Good numbers, I fixed it.
That was
yeah,
right?
that's what did the trick.
Yeah, it did the trick, yeah. That's the good thing. You know, I'm here for the numbers, which I don't know
Do the
how
numbers,
to say.
do the numbers.
Do the numbers, exactly.
So these are the bigger sets. So these are the squares, the hexagons, and the diamonds, and these are sets of 8.
Okay, so it
was only a matter of time, wasn't it?
So shall we bring the different ones? Now, of course, remember, it's option. Oh, sorry.
They're not options, these ones. They're 3 separate item numbers. So you'll have to have a look at them and decide which is the one that you want to go for. But you can see almost there how they are kind of going concentrically inside each other. And they're all marked on there. So that one's 3/4 inch. 1/4 inch seam allowance all the way around, so that will give me as an outer, that'll give me a 1 1/4 inch one, and then your next one up, you've got a 1 inch plus your 1/2 inch, quarter, well, 1/4 inch all the way around, 1/2 inch total and kind of diameter seam allowance, so that gives me a 1.5, and it kind of gradually increments up there, and you can see it always tells you on there that you've got your 1/4 inch seam allowance.
So you want for it, and I love that it has got both that seam allowance indication, but also the actual size on the side. So if you put it there, you can see it perfectly there. So that's
so it gives you the size, and that is the size without the seam allowance. So if you want to cut them out as whole shapes, you need to remember to add 1/2 inch on diameter-wise to give you a full size. This is going to fall over again, Paula.
Yeah, so I'm so sorry. No, you're doing really well. 945639 is your item number. £14.99 for the squares. Now we are going to the non-diamonds.
Now this is one that people find sometimes quite difficult to get right for the angles. Yeah. So this is a really nice way to do it. And whether you use those insides or those outsides, because they're scaled with that even 1/4 inch seam allowance, those angles will stay the same, and I can show you that. Am I allowed to take these apart?
Well, yes, just do it.
Well, there you go.
You know, hopefully nobody saw that. Yeah, exactly.
It's too late. It's done now. Because even though these are different sizes,
you kind of
if I put them together,
that would be so cool.
If I put them together like that,
and of course they all have that
still. Because they've all got the same starting dimensions in terms of angles, and they've all got the same seam allowance, they will all fit together. So you do not need to worry about working with diamonds, because these will all work.
That is really, I love that one. 846456 is your item number. £14.99, and remember that is the set of 8 pieces template for the diamond. The largest one being 3 inches and the smallest one 3/4 inch. Now, one of the most popular shapes, of course, is the hexagon. I love hexagons.
So this is great for your English paper piecing as well.
Of course.
Because I'm going to take these apart as well. I'm just destroying the place, because I think you can understand them better
if I put it like this, you can see how.
Okay.
And this one comes with a ball chain as well. So
exactly. But if you want to cut your paper pieces,
yes.
Let me just see if I can get this to work. I need the next one up. Okay. I see how they're measuring these. That's fine.
Yeah. That one. Yeah. That's the one.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So what you can do is you can use one for your inside.
Yeah. For
and
the
one
paper.
for your outside. So you could, if you wanted, because I prefer a slightly bigger seam allowance on English paper piecing, and that's because I'm just going to use this piece of cardboard. That's because if you don't get it spot on, then you've got a little bit of wiggle room. So what I would personally do, because this has got a 1/4 inch around it, and this is a 1.5 inch hexagon. Now I would actually cut out the paper pieces of the 1 inch hexagon. So I would draw around that. Draw around this one, cut this out in paper, and then draw around this one and cut that out in fabric. Because what you're actually going to give yourself is, rather than the 1/4 inch, which can be a little bit stingy when you're trying to fold it over. And if you get yourself slightly off centre, then a 1/4 inch is sometimes just not quite enough. I would actually step it up to and go for that. So you're giving yourself
options here.
You're giving yourself about 3/8 of an inch, which is just that little bit extra. And a little bit easier to work with. And you have got 8 shapes in here, again going from 3 inches. Put the paper back.
Of course.
There you go. 3 inches, you've got 2.5.
Shall I give the numbers while you're that? 882666 is your item number for the hexagons. £14 and 99 pence. Now, of course, there are more stuff in the website. Why not have a look on the website, and you will see, of course, all those items that we have seen, including some other that we may not have even seen them, preview them just yet. But you can see all the templates, the different options you have got for the set of the smallest bundles as well as the big bundles. And of course that pressing board, I just love it. It's just funny because
it's so cute.
It reminds me of my childhood. It's that sort of thing that I kind of think, and it's not because I was tiny and I was kind of ironing in here. I mean, no, it's just like, it's not. It's just because I kind of, now that I remember that it's my aunt who had one, and you know, I remember her seeing her doing the cuffs, and then my first Holy Communion, she made it all. It was like a proper one. She did wedding dresses and all the stuff, and she was doing, I think it was my sister that had, her dress had like a little pleats in here, then mine had like puffy sleeves.
Oh, she made your wedding dress?
Not the wedding dress, the first Holy Communion.
Oh. Wow, I mean that's hard work.
It is like a wedding dress. It
work.
is like a wedding dress. Yeah, when it came to my wedding, she just didn't want to. She paid for it, for my dress, but she didn't want to do it. And like,
I've had enough now. I've had enough now. Okay, so I've peeled the back off that, so now we can use the board again. Yep. And if I just flop it, I can either do it on the smaller, but what I was planning on doing, because this is kind of nicely folded into 4, was using that crease to set out each of these quarters. So I can pop that onto there, and using that iron again, just heat set one onto the other. And then you can also use, I've got the little heart that I needed to, I'm just trying to scratch the back off it. Come on.
Yeah, it does. Sometimes because it has been such a hot temperature that it kind of takes a little bit longer to cool down, right?
Yeah, got it. It just didn't want to let go.
Yeah. Oh, it was cool. It's Valentine's soon, so he wants to hold it.
So even if you've peeled the back off of these and you're not ready to use them yet, this is another great place where this just kind of grips it. Let me just hold it up for you. So if you're not ready to use it yet, if you just peel the back off the paper, then that will really, really grip onto there, and you can save, especially if you've got little bits and pieces of jelly rolls and things left, or freedom rolls.
I was thinking, if, for instance, even if you are like, so if you want to spell something, like say, for instance,
like what?
Well, I don't know. I don't know why you were like that. I mean, so for instance, you want to say, Hayley, you are the best.
Okay. No, I thought Andrew was the best.
Oh, yeah.
We discussed this.
Yeah. Andrew was the best for about 20 seconds, and then then you are.
It's my turn now.
Yeah, it's your turn for the duration of the show.
So what I'm going to do is I'll cut another 5 of those out, and we'll build this out in a little kind of pattern. Oh, I maybe should have put that in the middle.
No, that's fine.
Oh, do you think should start right in the middle and build it all the way out over all the shows?
Yes.
And then give it away at the end. Okay, I probably can move it. Now, because it's still slightly warm, if I apply the heat to that again, and then just while it's warm,
look at that.
And that's when that sticky board comes in really handy in there, because if you've decided to reposition something like that, and even this one, which I put on a little bit earlier, I mean, if you've left it 2 or 3 days, I would probably not take your chance. But if you are quite quick with it, oh, need a bit more heat. Okay. No, we're all right, we're all right. Okay. And we can reposition these. So those, if I wasn't going to use them straight away, I'd have them on that board. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go for dead centre in here. And what we'll gradually do is, using the templates, we'll build this out and out and out and make a big kind of cushion front using all of those beautiful Tilda fabrics.
Yeah. Now remember that the One Day Special includes that 4-in-1 multi-mat. Now you choose whichever pattern you like. You have got and owl is in the lead, so I'm going to show you the different options. So that's the owl. A third of the stock has already gone. Then you have got the floral, or over 20% of the stock of that one. Hayley's and my favorite, the gray spots, over 20% of the stock gone. And then finally we have got the blue spot, which is, you know, on the last one bit. You know, give him some love. Of course, it has got, you know, the heavyweight fabric, and here the canvas. I think you are all very busy with the owl, which makes it sound so rather.
Now, I drew these on, but then it was a heat erasable marker, and it was underneath the fabric, which was underneath the iron. So schoolboy error, they obviously came off because it's a heat erasable pen.
Shows how
I've got two choices. Obviously, it's the back of the paper, so the quickest choice is to just draw it on again. If it was something really delicate and intricate in a specific shape that you needed, if you just pop that fabric in the freezer for about an hour and a half, it will come back.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I've got...
That?
Have you not heard about this?
So this pen...
It disappears.
It appears again.
It's visible between 2 certain temperatures. And if you take it over a certain temperature, it will vanish. And it's only when you take it back below zero for a certain period of time, then it will come back.
That is fascinating. Fascinating.
Quite that far.
It's like, wow.
It's just I mean, the heat erasable ones are fairly standard within Softcraft.
I'm going to be sourcing some of them, and then I'm going to be playing all day long at my house and putting in the thing.
So, can I show a different technique? If I give you these to cut out so we can continue on with that. Yeah. There you go. Some nice shot. You like them. They're serrated.
Oh, yes, they are.
They're very good.
Of course, so fabric,
that's the one that I think most people will use this project for, is applique, because that's the kind of the standard in Softcraft. But there's a lot more things you can use this for. So, I have got some heat fix vinyl in here. Ooh. So this is great on stretchy things. Now, I have a little bit of fleece here, because you can do it onto fleece, and the fleece will have, because it's a knit rather than a weave, so a woven fabric has fibres or threads going in this direction, up and down, the warp and the weft, threads going side to side. And that's why there's not really any stretch in a cotton fabric that's just a normal weave, unless you put it on the side. And that's the bias.
Yeah, the
and
bias,
we'll come to bias tomorrow, because we have got some bias binding tools on there. But this is a heat fix vinyl. Now it has got a protective sheet on there, but I am just going to grab my little bit of paper. And it's looking a bit sorry for itself, but it is worth doing this just to protect the area, just because I've got this quite high. I've got this iron quite high, and obviously I don't want to melt the fleece that's underneath, because that is a polyester. Just a little bit, tiny bit more, because I've still got this quite high temperature. Now, while it's still warm, now it's got that protective plastic on there, and I can just pull that off. And that gives me my heat fix vinyl. And just to show, I mean, it needs to cool down a little bit more, but you saw all the stretch that was in this fabric, and it stretches with it. It's such good stuff. But to be able to do that, you need a dry iron. it's no good with a steam iron with the plastic. So you need a dry iron to do this type of technique.
Of course, if you are, Silhouette were a couple of days ago, so they do, like you can cut any shape with the vinyl, you can design your own, and then of course you want to have something like this. If you're like me, I mean, I've mentioned it many times, the only iron I own is a mini one for my, crafting, general crafting, die cutting, things like that. One of the reasons why I like to have a mini iron is separate. Well, I did get it when I still had a proper iron. I couldn't have a proper iron doing all the applique with the adhesive, with the inks and things like that, because
you'll just ruin it. You'll just ruin your normal iron. You'll go to iron clothes and then you get covered. So it is really, really worth having a separate dedicated iron. And things like the Aliso iron are fantastic. However,
it is expensive.
It's expensive.
It's really not expensive. It is a considered purchase in the sense that not everybody, it's a price tag that not everybody can afford.
It's not the cheapest iron, but it is a very, very good one. But I'm going to just have to nip over there to get the piece of fabric I need.
Okay.
So do you mind doing a little recap?
Yeah, of course I can do that. I can do that, of course. The one-day special is what we are going to get. So if you're going to get the one-day special, remember you have got a choice for the multi-mat. It is open. So there you have got on the screen the floral option. A quarter of the stock has already gone, of course. If you want to go for this one, you will have the trees. And in whichever one option you are gonna get, the inside will have got all the multifunction. Of course, whatever option you are getting, you are gonna get the dry iron non-stick as well with the foldable handle. If you want to go the gray spots as well, you can go for that one. That's Hayley's and my favorite. Over 20% of the stock has already gone. It is kind of and then you can open up and you have got the cutting side as well as the holding side, as I will call it. And of course you have got the dry iron included. Then the owl, which is our best seller.
Like a wolf.
Over a third of the stock has gone. And then we have got one more option, which is, I believe, is the blue spots, which has got that canvas fabric, which is a little bit more heavyweight and more textured. If you want to go for that one, of course you can go for that one. Now unfolding the fabric nice and neatly, so we can just put it with the rest. Remember, this is just for display purposes. You are going to get a full-on one if you go for this beautiful fabric.
You are. So I just went to get a plain piece of fabric because I wanted to show another technique that the iron and the fusible webbing is absolutely brilliant for. How long have we got, people?
11
well, we'll start it in this hour, we'll finish it in the next one.
Oh,
how's that?
So you're back at
I'm just gonna,
9 hours.
Yeah. I'm here all day.
Yeah, and tomorrow.
Yeah, I did the very first show today. I did Good Morning Hochanda.
And you're gonna...
And I'm doing the very last one.
Yeah, I did once that. Yeah, it's a killer.
Yeah, did you?
Yeah.
The 16-hour shift. Yeah, it's a good one, that one.
Yep.
I notice you haven't done it again.
No. Whenever I have got the option, I want.
You would say
I did 4 hours presenting and then the 2 hours guesting.
Dear me. Yeah. Did you go home in between?
Yeah, but I love it
done
here.
That.
And exactly. I actually had. I remembered.
It could be worse. We could have proper jobs.
Exactly. Absolutely. No, I actually love it.
We could have proper jobs.
Because it's all my friends in my ear and otherwise,
friends in your head.
And friends in my head, and they say hi.
Could I have the little scissors, please?
Yeah.
Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover this whole piece in the fusible webbing.
Okay. Yeah.
So.
Of course, the one-day special. I really love the one-day special.
And can I just say why it's worth having a specific ironing mat for what you're doing, and not just doing it on your ironing board, especially when you're using things like the fusible webbing. And if you kind of miscut slightly and there's a little bit hanging over, and then you end up with sticky patches on your ironing board, and then you end up with sticky patches on your clothes.
Now you have hit it. You know what I would do with this ironing board? I will write here ink and here glue. So I would use them.
Good idea.
For, like, this one is for the inky stuff. This one is for the glue stuff.
Yeah,
and then
that's a really good idea.
And just to get into the habit. Now, the other thing I love...
I've done that with this. Look, I've cut it. I didn't intentionally do it, but I've cut it slightly bigger. So if I didn't trim that down first and I just went straight in there with the iron, it's going to stick to the piece below, which is fine in theory, but it is going to leave a sticky residue for the next time that I go back down. So I am actually going to trim this, but if you do it by accident, because you would maybe keep this as your designated board
for glue, it doesn't matter because it attaches
so much.
to glue. Now, the other thing I love about having a board that folds like this is that you can have it right beside you as well, and because it's sturdy, it will sit nice and tall in here on the side. So you know what I would use is, you know those paper files, like I have got quite a few of them in my
the magazine files.
Magazine files.
Yes, yes, yes.
So you have one of those ones. It's
See,
really
between
inexpensive.
us, we're like one proper person.
Not only in height, but in brains too. So I would have it there because then that would sit nice and steady. Probably the iron with the folded handle would fit also in the magazine holder.
Yes.
So you could have those two things ready always to use, and then you are having your sewing, your thing. You could just grab it in there. You have got the tool. Iron it.
So to start this off, all I'm doing is I'm attaching a big piece of fusible webbing to a backing sheet, and I want to make sure this is really, really well stuck before I peel it up, because the technique that we're going to use after this is a snippet technique. So this is a way of using up all of those little tiny scraps. So maybe you've got bits left over from bigger projects, and these can be the tiniest pieces. And also what works well for this is bits of threads that are left over as well. So maybe you've got really nice variegated threads, you've had some nice metallic embroidery threads and things like that. That works really well within here as well. So we're going to use this piece of fabric, we're going to use some organza as well over the top, and we're going to stick it all together and then do a bit of free motion over the top as well. So it's got a lot of kind of things that you're going to use that kind of heat bond for. So this is why the dry iron is really, really helpful. So I'm going to stick that all on there, and then I'm going to let that cool down for a little bit.
Can we talk about how good of a deal this is?
It is a really good deal.
It is an amazing
one. Even if you go have a look online and just look for a travel iron, one that's not maybe dedicated for sewing, just a travel iron.
Now that's a very good point.
And you'd have a hard job finding one for less than £20.
It would be, and also
then you're getting your mat. Go online, have a look for just an A4 cutting mat.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, an A4 cutting mat, a holding mat with all the kind of project,
and an ironing board.
And ironing boards that is folded that you can have in there. Now, of course, the traveling iron. That's a very good point, because if you are somebody or one of these people that always has to travel with an iron, having one that folds, the handle folds,
it does fold completely flat. Now,
space.
obviously, it is a UK plug, so you will need to take an adapter with you and check the voltages in the country to make sure that it's all right.
Maybe in the UK.
Oh, maybe,
you
you can travel there too. I've gone further afield.
You are so international. I mean, it's kind of the irony here, but a workshop. If you're traveling for a workshop, a retreat. I know a lot of you, for instance,
that makes more sense.
Yeah.
Between us, one whole person. See, with Yanis, I just argue. We just bicker like children.
Oh, really?
And then you and me just make a whole person. It's brilliant.
That's it. No, but it does make sense, doesn't it?
Yes, it does now, yes.
No,
I've gone international. Sorry.
Well, you're a jet setter, while I'm just local. The irony.
The drive to Newcastle's dead exciting.
Anyway.
Oh dear. I'm going to see if this is cool enough to get off. Oh, it might just be. No, it's not. Can I just show you here why you need to leave it and make sure it is completely set? Because I'm just going to turn around so hopefully you can see it. As I try and pull this, can you see at the bottom there where it's just pulling the glue a little bit? That's why it's really important to leave it to kind of set properly. I mean, it's doing it less and less as it's cooling down a bit, but that's why you want to leave it a little bit longer. I will just, now I've started it off and I know I'll be able to peel it, I'll just leave that a little bit longer so it's gone completely cool. And then we're going to get stuck in with lots of different mediums, lots of different fabrics, snip them all over, and then we're going to take some organza over the top. So this is crystal organza, and what that's going to do, it's going to do two things. It's going to seal in all of those bits of fabric that we add to it, but it's also going to add that little bit of depth and that little bit of sparkle to it. And once you've created that piece of fabric, then you can sew it into a project. So maybe for this size, it's probably ideal for like a diary cover or something like that, because it's a nice size for something like that, or maybe a little purse,
yeah,
or a little bag, because it's a nice kind of size for that.
Yeah, if I put them side by side, this is the board, or the the ironing mat, multi-use purpose. Look at how low profile the iron is with that folded handle. I think this is really clever because, as I said, a space is always a premium, whether you are traveling, whether you are staying in the studio.
Travel irons before, what they've always done is they've folded flat, but they haven't thought about the cable, and they've done this quite cleverly, so that the cable actually fits into that gap. So then you can take it, you're not bending it back on itself, you're taking it round to wrap it round, which is a really good point, because sometimes they can, if an iron's going to go,
it's going to go there.
That's the point that it's going to go. Yeah. So the fact that it kind of rests in there and supports that bit when you do want to pack it away, that is really, really helpful.
And then, of course, you kind of go lift it up like that, and you have got here your iron mat. Now, of course, the options for that mat and multi-use, remember, it opens up, so you can use it as a cutting mat inside it with that kind of holding grip, sandpaper sort of area that you can put your pieces there, and you can see how they will hold it in place. Now, of course, you have got the option of the owl, and that, of course, is in the lead. Approaching 40% of the stock has already gone up. Now, in the first hour, now it's approaching, that's really busy. Now, of course, the other options that we have got is the grey spots. That's very popular as well. Then we have got the floral, which is, I really think is very, very cute as well. Approaching 30% of the stock. And finally, the last option, but not least, is the blue spot here. Now, of course, that has a heavier weave in here, which makes a lot of sense for a different techniques.
Yeah,
you want to transfer that texture.
Use kind of that for heavier weight projects. So if you're doing more things with denims and canvases, if you're bag making, that's a great one, because it's going to take that bit more heat because it's got the heavier weight fabric on.
And also if you are a mixed media artist, then you want texture and things like that, that would work. I mean, I'm talking about very, very fine texture.
It's not so textured that it's going to leave a print on everything. It's just to be aware, it has got a little bit more of a texture to it, but that can work in your favour if you're looking for more mixed media kind of thing.
And then what you are doing is just put in some.
Yeah, what we're going to do is we're going to make a graduated one, which goes from kind of light to dark. So we've got less pieces up here, busier pieces up there. And what I'm doing is I'm just taking, and it doesn't matter if some of them are upside down, I'm just taking pieces of fabric. Now you can kind of properly fussy cut bits. I'm just going to roughly cut this flower out, because I know we haven't got long. So you can kind of cut out more specific shapes and add those in. Or you can just randomly snip little bits of fabric. So what I'll do, I'll use some of the templates in the break, and I'll cut a couple of templates out to go in here as well.
Because you are back at 9 p.m, aren't you?
Yes, I'm here all day.
Of course, you are going to be joined, please, Hayley and Alex at 9 p.m. Where
is it Alex?
It's Alex, it's not me.
Oh, you get to go home.
Yes, I do. Well, after the next hour, which is very exciting as well.
What you got?
Now, Stamp Addicts.
Oh, yeah, I've seen them.
Love them. Now, of course, if you check out your baskets, remember, we are very busy for the one-day special and all the other items. Thank you, Hayley.
Thank you, Paola.
See you tomorrow.
We make one whole person.
Yeah, a whole person, really. That's great. Not just in height, but in brains as well.